And people were upset because this man got delivered, and they were upset with Jesus because Jesus caused their pigs to be drowned. I want you to pay attention to verse number 37 here, because the Bible says, then the whole multitude of the country of the Gadarenes round about besought him to depart from them. You see that? You see the contrast between verse 37 and verse 40. In verse 37, you had a group of people who were rejecting him. And in verse 40, you had a group of people who were receiving him. You see the contrast. There's one group of people who reject Jesus, and there's another group of people who are receiving Jesus. Now, family, what I would suggest to you is I would suggest to you many times appreciation is associated with a location. Many times you can be in one place and folks don't appreciate you, and you can go to another place and there's a whole set of people who love you and appreciate what God has placed inside of you. You can go to one place and be rejected, and you can go to another place and be received. And the only difference between the two locations is not really about the place, but it's about the people. Right? And in the place where they reject you in comparison to the place where they receive you, the difference is do they recognize you? Do they recognize the God deposit that is inside of you? Do they recognize how special you are? Do they recognize how capable you are? Do they recognize the fact that you are a gift to them? Those folks that were in the land of the Gadarenes, they did not recognize that Jesus was a gift from God in their country. He was a gift from God there to bless them. He could have brought deliverance to them, but these folks did not recognize him. Now, some of you been walking around with your head down because you went to a place where folks didn't recognize you. You worked on a job where they didn't recognize you. You were in a relationship with a no good brother or an unappreciative sister that didn't recognize you. And now you walking around with your head down. Let me tell you something. You cannot dictate how you feel about yourself based upon those that don't appreciate you. And some of us put ourselves in situations that Jesus would not put himself in. Right? Some of you, because you want to do the Christ-like thing, you want to do the Christian thing, you continue to deal with folks that don't appreciate you. You continue to try to make people appreciate you. You continue, my God, to try to make relationships work that God never intended to work. How do I know it to be true? Because look what Jesus' response was in verse 37. They besought him to depart from them, for they were taken with great fear. Watch this. He went up into the ship and returned back again. Simple. He didn't sit there and try to make a case on why they should appreciate him. He didn't sit there and try to say, well, I am the Son of God, and I am anointed, and God has graced me to do this, and you know what? You should appreciate me. Right? He didn't sit there and try to make a relationship work that God didn't want to work. He said, if you can't recognize who I am, if you can't appreciate who I am, let me tell you something. I go back to the other side where folks will appreciate the God deposit that is inside of me. And family, what I'm trying to tell some of you before we even really get into the message is you need to stop trying to convince folks who you are. You need to, my God, go to the people who recognize who God created you to be. Recognize the fact that you are a blessing. Recognize the fact that you know what, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, whether you recognize it or not. Jesus wasn't sitting there trying to make that stuff work. And you know what? One of the biggest mistakes that I've made in my life is sitting there trying to make people appreciate me that would never appreciate me. And you make all these concessions trying to appease people that will never appreciate you. Some folks will never acknowledge you. Some folks will never appreciate you. Right? Some of you are wasting time in relationships trying to get this joker to make you a wife when you know what? You got a knight in shining armor waiting for you to leave that zero and get with a hero. Ain't that what they used to say? That was a cold line when we never in this school. You need to leave that zero and get with this hero. Right? So we spend time. You've been on a job for 15, 20 years, your boss ain't never appreciated you. They ain't never acknowledged you. They ain't never gave you the promotion that you deserve. You show up early, you stay late, you work with excellence, and you know what? You watch all these people around you get elevated because you know what? They don't recognize you. Take a note out of the book of Jesus. Get back on your ship and let's go to the other side. The reason why it's critical for you to have that mindset, the reason why it's critical for you not to waste your time trying to convince people who can't recognize you to appreciate you is because there is a whole other crowd that's waiting on you. You didn't hear that. See, you're trying to convince these people over here to appreciate you, and every moment you waste trying to convince them, every moment you waste trying to make a case to them is a moment that you're robbing from this crowd that is waiting on you. There are people that are waiting for the ideas that you have. There are people that are waiting to hear your ministry. There are people that are waiting, my God, to put you in the position, the managerial position. There are people that are waiting on you. So Jesus said, oh, y'all don't appreciate me. Kick the dust off my feet, get back on my boat, and I'm going to the other side. Now the Bible said that when Jesus got to the other side, there was a crowd. Somebody said crowd. There was a crowd that was waiting on him. And the Bible said that when Jesus steps off the boat, there is this whole crowd of people waiting on him. And out of the crowd, the Bible said there bust out a man named Jairus, who was the ruler of the synagogue. And the Bible said that Jairus bust out. And the Bible said he fell down at Jesus' feet. And the Bible said that Jairus, this ruler of the synagogue, began to beg Jesus to come to his house. That's profound to me because Jairus is the ruler of the synagogue. The ruler of the synagogue. What the ruler of the synagogue was, is the ruler of the synagogue was the person who was responsible for managing the house of worship. The ruler of the synagogue would schedule services. The ruler of the synagogue sometimes would have to teach the people. The ruler of the synagogue, in other words, was the pastor. This was the pastor who fell at Jesus' feet and was begging him to come to his house. It's significant to me, Brother John, because I began to look at the text. I was trying to figure out where did the crowd come from. And what I realized is the crowd was actually Jairus' church, which means that Jairus was doing church very well. But although Jairus was doing church well, he still had a problem at his house. And what happens too many times is we know how to do church well, but we still got a whole bunch of drama and problems in our house. Right? And Jairus said, you know what, I don't care what my position is. I ain't trying to perpetrate for nobody. Jesus, you're here, and you know what? I have a need. I need you to come to my house, and I need you to heal my 12-year-old daughter because she is on the brink of dying. He makes a very powerful plea. He does not allow his position to cause him to be inauthentic in front of the people. He says, you know what? I don't care if the crowd is watching or not.
Right.
Jesus.
Yes.
I need you to come to my house.
Yes, Lord.
And there are some of us in the house of God that we do church real good. We can sing real good. We can play real good. We can shout real good. We can dance real good. We can preach real good. We can prophesy real good. We know how to do it all. We got the church lingo down. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. God is good all the time. Hey, PTL. Like we even got acronyms for how we do church, right? We know how to do church. But you got something at your house that's dying. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be the type of person that comes to church and to be amongst the crowd and we do this well, but home is dying. Oh, come on, somebody, right? Because what that means is that's just perpetration. Right? And we in here, and if we come and we do this well, but our marriage is failing, and we do this well, but our finances are jacked up, or we do this well, but we're terrible parents to our children. What we're doing is we're just going through the motions, and this is performance. Right? And when you do performance in the house of God, but your house is messed up, you have bought into religion, but not true relationship. Because if you have a true relationship with Jesus Christ, he's not going to allow you to do this well and and not do that well. And I'm sick and tired of folks' houses being messed up, but they do this well. I'm sick and tired of folks coming to the house of God and they can preach well and they can't do home well. Baby, let me tell you this. I can't function and I can't fool with nobody who can't do home well. Right? No. Get that straight before you try to come do something in the house of God. Get that together. You can't come in here and you know what? You want to work in the youth ministry and you don't take care of your kids. My God. Praise God. Elder said, open up that bag and throw me an amen out of there. Praise God.